I'm so glad you could join me today. I'm Miss Nuccia from the Winfield Public Library, and today we are making easy peasy pizza. I've been making pizza for a very long time, and it's one of the easiest things. And today I'm going to teach you the way I do it, the way I've been doing it for many decades. One little tip I would give you is I freeze my yeast. I don't keep it out. I want it to last longer, and I don't want to rush to the store. And I usually buy a pound of yeast from Costco, but you can buy 3 packages from Aldi. It's just as good. But I think that freezing it keeps it longer, preserves it longer. And so usually when I keep it in the freezer, I take it out and I let it warm up a little bit. So another trick, so it's 1 package or 1 tablespoon of yeast. I use 1 teaspoon of honey and half a cup of warm water. And I don't do any special equipment. I just stick my finger in there, clean hands. And if it feels warm to the touch, it's perfect. So then put your honey. I use a jar so you could see through, so I could see. It's like usually I just use a cup. So put your honey in. Sometimes I cheat and I will use sugar, but honey is really gives you a nicer result. Make sure you get your teaspoon of honey out. Doesn't have to be precise. 1. I like it all. Add your warm water to the touch. They recommend 105, but honestly, stir it up a little bit. I could use this one that has the honey in it. Stir it to dissolve the little bit of honey that you put in. And then add your yeast. Just sprinkle it in. And now, I like to sometimes give it a little stir, but you don't even have to. And now you wait. You wait until it gets about double, and foamy, about 5 minutes. So now we wait. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Well, our yeast has more than doubled. I'm gonna bring it up closer to the camera so you could see. It was right over here at the beginning, and look at it, all that foam, that beautiful foam. So I've pre-measured 3.5 cups of flour. I just throw it all in, dump it in. Now, I have 1 cup of water. I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of oil in it, so it's together. I'm going to sprinkle my salt in my flour. No, easy, no, nothing. And then I am going to just throw my liquid in. And the reason I do it this way at the beginning is to make sure that I'm not going to waste 3.5 cups of flour, because I want it to rise. I want it to turn out. Because if it doesn't work, then you just go ahead and do it again. And then I just dump my 1 cup water and 1/4 cup of oil. And I do a little bit of warm water, and I just stir it all up. Stir it until it's all incorporated, and it doesn't take long. Then, after the worst is over, I clean my spoon. I don't want to waste any. And my hands have been washed many times. Then I just take and I knead it right in the bowl. I don't even knead it on my board. Just knead it. And look, it's coming together. No equipment. Your hands. Just like the days of my grandmother. There were no food processors back then. No mixers. It's all coming together. I'm incorporating it all. I wish, can you see how it's all coming together? And this will make 2 nice-sized pizzas. Enough to feed at least 4 people, depending on the appetites. Almost done. See? Look. Look how beautiful. No equipment. No need to get the food processor out and all that. Now that it's nicely, I don't do much. But what I would recommend is putting a drop of oil at the bottom. And I'm going to go get my oil. See? You don't have to need a whole bunch. Not necessary. But I do want to clean my hands and get the oil. And what I'll do is just put just a drop of oil. Like, I would say, this is my oil from before. Maybe a tablespoon, not even. You don't even need it. And just, this way it won't stick to your bowl. And now that my hands are all messy, now we cover it. We cover it with a tea towel in a spot where there's no draft. And in 1 hour, it's going to be double the size. We're going to punch it down, divide it in 2, and then let it rest again. So now it's time to go put a tea towel on and let it rest. So an hour's passed and it's more than doubled. And I'm going to take it out. I usually like to use something like this because I like to just throw it in one of my rectangle pans. But I use this for a measurement. But my kids really like round pans. So what we're going to do before I even punch it down, before we do that, we are going to take a little bit of oil, like a tablespoon, and just grease your pan. Just a little bit. Just a little bit of oil on both pans, because remember, it's going to make 2. Just nothing fancy. Just grease it so your dough won't stick and so you get a nice crust at the bottom. I like mine nice and brown, or golden, I should say. Golden, that's the right word. Okay, I think, so that's like a tablespoon for both. Okay, that's done. Move that on the side. Now that we've done that, we are ready to punch it down. Just punch it down. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, go ahead. I'm going to do the rectangle one and just put a little bit of flour on your table, just a little bit. Spread it out. Divide your dough in half, like that. Or, don't have to weigh it or anything. And I forgot to get my rolling pin. I like to use a rolling pin. I know that in Italy they just twirl it. I've never mastered that. Not yet. I do like to use this because it becomes my measurement. And it always works. So Doesn't have to be perfect. And then I fold it in half and I just spread it on my pan. And I try to spread it with my fingers to fit. You don't have to. You could leave it rustic. But I like to use every inch of my pan. That's the first one. Now it's going to rest for about 45 minutes. And I take the other dough, put a little bit more flour, about an eighth of a cup, just a spoonful. Well, actually, I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use my round one now. And here it is. A little bit more on top. And now we're going to make the round one. And work in a circle. You see, I've got the measurements on this, which work really nice. Keep turning it so you get a nice circle. Be fun to twirl it. I think this looks like a good circle. Fold it in half and then place it on your oiled pan. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't have to be. And my second one is ready. So now we're gonna let the dough rest 45 minutes and you're gonna see it's gonna rise up again and be a little bit bigger. 45 minutes. In the meantime, you can cut your veggies and prepare all your fixings. So I'll be back in 45 minutes. So it's been about 45 minutes. You don't have to be exact because it will continue rising in the oven. So they're both about ready. And I made a sauce earlier just from my garden tomatoes. And I'm going to spread my sauce on. And you can put as much or as little as you want. Or you can buy sauce pre-made in a jar. Doesn't matter what you want to put. It's your choice. You're making the pizza and you're going to love doing this as a family. It'll become a new Friday tradition. Or Saturday. Or any day of the week that you are together. Okay, I think that one has enough. I don't want the sauce falling on my lap. And then the next one. And then while I was waiting for the second rising on the dough, what I did is I cut up my my onions and my sausage, and I opened a can of mushrooms. But you could put anything. I personally love spinach and broccoli on mine, but I don't know if everybody does. You can put dried tomatoes on it. You can put sliced tomatoes. Your choice. You can put olives. Oh, olives are delicious. Yeah, okay, I think this is just about enough. Side. And I'm gonna throw some onion on. And while we're doing this, I turned my oven on to 425 degrees. You want to get a nice hot oven going. The oven's saying it's ready. Just beeped. So that's done now. And I'm going to throw some mushrooms on. Do you want to say hello? I have a very hungry guest sneaking in. Coco doesn't care about pizza. This little girl does. Maybe she'll say hi at the end. Meet my guest. Okay, that's on. And a little sausage. I just take some sausage links, some Italian sausage, and just take the casing off and spread it on. Yes, my guest is saying, can I have some fresh sausage? You can't have that. You want to say hello, Pepper? You can say hello. I'm sure the boys and girls would really like to know who I'm talking to. Mm-hmm. They're going to say, who's Miss Nuccia talking to? She's looking down and talking to someone. You can say hello. Bark and say hello. Speak. Speak. You can say hello. No, now she's shy. Normally she says hello all the time. Speak. 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 You hear her? That's Pepper. Saying hello. There, you see? She said hello to all the boys and girls and all my friends watching. And really, when you think about it, making your own pizza, it doesn't cost very much. 3.5 cups of flour, a package or a tablespoon of yeast. It's not a lot of stuff. A can of mushrooms, a little bit of cheese. By the way, you know what I do with my cheese? I freeze it. I go ahead and I freeze it because this way, when I want it, and I know I'm making pizza, I just pull it out of the freezer. And look, you wouldn't even know that it was frozen. See how nice it is? So I go to Costco and I buy a big package of, I don't go, my daughter goes for me because it is COVID and I don't go anywhere. But my daughter goes and she'll pick up a big package of mozzarella and I divide it in 3 packages. And 1 package is more than enough for 2 pizzas. This way, I have it whenever I get the desire or the taste for a pizza. Well, that one's done. And see, it's still swelling up on me. It's going to be beautiful. Just you wait and see. So just remember, freeze your yeast if you buy a big package. And take out a tablespoon just before you start. So it has time to thaw and get warmer. A lot of these ingredients could be in the freezer waiting. Okay. I think that's enough, and I still have enough cheese left over. That's good. Now I like to sprinkle a little bit of Italian seasoning. You don't have to. Sometimes I sprinkle little pepper. But this gives it a nice little color on top. And now my oven is hot. I set it to 425 just before I started the process of putting this together. My oven is hot and I'm going to place them in the oven. Well, I think the pizzas are almost done. Normally, I only put 1 pizza in at a time, but for the video today, I thought I would put both in at the same time. Here's the first one. Isn't it gorgeous? just gorgeous. Let me check the condition of the second one. The second one needs a little bit more time. Not quite done. I would give it another minute. And my second pizza is done. I like my crust a little brown on the edges. I like it crispy. And I do want to give you a tip. Normally I don't put sausage on I just put vegetables. But today for something special I decided to put sausage. A tip, cook your sausage a little bit before you put it. You'll drain all the fat and it's healthier. And that's why it took a little longer. Normally, see today it took about 30 minutes to do 2 pizzas, and normally I only put 1 pizza at a time in the oven. And when you the levels aren't exactly the same because you can't fit 2 pizzas side by side. So I had one on the bottom and one on the top, and it took a little bit longer. But other than that, it looks delicious and it smells so wonderful. So everyone, just remember to test your yeast before you start. Remember to use a teaspoon of honey. Remember, you don't have to take the temperature of the water. Just stick your finger in there, and if it feels comfortable, it's good to go. Test it. Make sure it rises and doubles. And then put in the rest of the ingredients I told you about. And basically, have fun. You can make your dough earlier in the day, and then just before supper, roll it out, get it all done, and enjoy. Buon appetito, everyone.